Today's subject is going to be very interesting because I haven't seen many other YouTubers or anyone else talk about this very much. Though I have to say I haven't done a big research on YouTube, but I thought I'd give it my own twist, sort of. So I thought I could talk about my Rockstar crushes. Yes, Rockstar crushes. I've had so many over the years, and it just doesn't stop. It just continues. I have one every now and then because we love rock stars, and I'm going to talk about rock stars especially. So we're going to talk about rock stars from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Well, for me personally, but you might have crushes on stars from the 2000s or whatever. But we're going to talk about especially rock and roll, rock stars, hard rock. Let's get into it. The rock stars I'm gonna name are not in order of like who's prettiest to least prettiest. I think they're all beautiful, hot, sexy, you name it, whatever. They're not perfect, but they were certainly great musicians and they were really hot. I will name them in the order that they marked my personal life, not in necessarily a chronological order, or as I said, based on how they looked. Is just my personal, how I'm gonna name them, how they marked my personal life. So first one, we have John Lennon, circa 1965-66. It's my first rockstar crush ever, John Lennon. So for me, he's very, very important. He started my love for anything rock and roll, the 60s. It's just so nostalgic for me every time I watch A Hard Day's Night and Help. This is my favorite version of John Lennon with his cute Beatle haircut. I just love it so much. He was so adorable and his nose, absolutely beautiful. I know some people would say John as a person might have done some questionable things, but please, we are not here to talk about that. I would say 63 to about 66. That's my favorite John Lennon right there. In second place, I'm gonna have to name Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, because I don't know why, I had a mega crush on Brian Jones right after John Lennon. So beautiful Brian Jones. Also the 60s haircut that I really loved when I was a big fan of John Lennon and Brian Jones. I think I was 11, 12 years old. So I guess this was my boy band phase of some kind. So, because when you look at their haircut, you're like, this is the typical boy band haircut of 60s bands. And I did, like, at that time I was listening to the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Byrds, the Monkees, and it's just this great typical haircut at that time. And it's marked my life around that moment in my life, 11, 12, 13 years old. It's when I was really into these bands and like just typical teen girls with her boy bands, but it was these rock and roll bands. And I was born in 1998, so very much later than the 60s. But they were my boy bands. When everybody was into One Direction, I was into the Rolling Stones and the Byrds. So I was different, but it's okay. I never whined about it or questioned or was angry about that fact. I just continued on living. So for the third spot, there's gonna be two-person. Yes, I know, weird, but I can't decide which one I love the most, and they marked me at the same exact time. It's Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend of The Who. My goodness, the hotness from these two, incredible. Oh my god. They were just so sexy, and Roger Daltrey honestly still is pretty hot. I mean, if he was not married, maybe I'd be interested, but I'm gonna be a good girl and just stay in my place. But yeah, these two were something really different from each other, which is funny that I put them in the same spot, but very sexy. In my fourth spot, there is, now we're way later. So we're now in the grunge era. So this is Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. Those hair, baby, those hair. I mean, Jerry Cantrell would probably, I mean, if I was a man, I'd probably be Jerry Cantrell. I think, well, I don't think we have similar faces, but if I was a man, I'd want to be Jerry Cantrell. Also a beautiful face. He's got a kind of face that I find hot. Beautiful hair. I mean, I cannot get over his hair. Incredible, baby. Still hot, actually. Another one. He's still really sexy, in my opinion. And he's a great musician, amazing guitarist, and singer too. I think Jerry Cantrell's singing is so underrated. In my fifth spot, and this is where the Guns N' Roses community on Tumblr comes in, actually. Shout out to everyone there, especially, well, if you watch this, you might know, but fifth spot is Izzy Stradlin. Yes, I know, the cryptid of hard rock. He was my big crush of last year. He's actually the reason I chose Isbell as my, I'm gonna say online name, BB Isbell, because Izzy Stradlin, also known as, was born Jeffrey Dean Isbell, and Izzy Stradlin is his artist name, so I guess I sort of did the same thing. I got an artist name too, but not because of Izzy, but one of the hottest men of rock and roll. Oh my god. I mean, just look at him. Just look at him. He's had this long black hair thing going on, and he's like the silent member of the band. He's, you know, he's got these like quiet type of mysterious guy vibes going on, and I know he's a fan favorite on Tumblr. His fans are nuts. They go absolutely nuts. The Izzy fan fiction community is alive and doing very well. Extremely well, and I just find it hilarious, but at the same time I'm so happy for him because he deserves more recognition. I'm personally a big fan of his solo career. I actually got into this in the last 2 years, 2021, 2022 is when I was really into Izzy's solo career. And I could do a video about that if you're interested, just like name some songs that I think are really good, why, and that they're worth it. But he's a bit of a less known member of the rock and roll community, I guess, because he was only in Guns N' Roses for a little while. And he's not the, you know, Izzy's famous for saying no.
Izzy, were you gonna say something then?
No.
No.
There's the answer. And, you know, he's not like Axel or Slash, who would give a lot of interviews. They would talk a lot, and they would do many MTV interviews, so they were more known by the public, especially that like Slash lasted a really long time in Guns until the end. Also with Duff McKagan, and well, Axel was famous for all the problems that he caused. I think he's in a much better place now. This one's gonna be interesting because I might have to put these two on the same level. And you tell me what you think about this. I think it's kind of hilarious because I had both a crush on James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine. Not exactly at the same time. First it was Dave Mustaine, then it was James Hetfield, and then it was Dave Mustaine again. and it hasn't changed since. I think James was hot. I don't sound super convinced, but James was pretty hot too. I think he looked really good, especially in the early 90s. I know he had the redneck thing going on, but I just love how masculine James was, and he still is. I mean, we all know. I don't know if it's a weird thing to say, but now he's such daddy material. But not in the way you say. Not in like a yes in a hot way, but like I mean he's also a dad, so he's just got these dad persona now. That's kind of what I mean. So please don't be weirded out. But Dave Mustaine, I was always a big fan of Dave Mustaine, and I know what the men think of him. But I love Dave because he's such a jerk. I can't explain it. I just love his persona of I don't give a damn, and I'm Dave, and I'm a bit of a yeah, you know what I mean if you know Dave. So yeah. And lastly, so this is my current crush right now in this second as we speak. He's the man I've been crushing for quite a couple of months now, and I cannot stop. I just love him to the death. It's Bon Scott. Bon Scott, lead singer of AC/DC. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend. If you know, you know the deal. Also, he's not conventionally hot for sure, but I don't know, I can't explain what I love about Bon Scott. I just love that he's so unconventional. He's got this sort of really charming aura going on. Because technically, we can both agree he's not like the most good-looking guy, I guess, even in back then standard and today's standards, I suppose. But I think he was really, really sexy. I love his little outfit and his tight jeans. I guess it was trendy because Robert Plant is just the king of tight jeans in rock and roll. But Bon had a really hot thing going on. And I just love the songs, the AC/DC songs, Bon Scott era are so sexy. He's just so hot. He's trying to charm you and get you hot, and like he's telling you what he's gonna do to you in his songs. Ugh, yeah. So this is my current crush, and I just can't stop. Bon Scott. Yes, absolutely. Just look at him. Oh my goodness, girl. Yes. So this part is gonna be my honorable mentions part, and please don't be offended if I didn't name some rock stars. It's not that I don't think they look good. They just didn't mark me the way the previous men have. That's just why. But the rock stars I'm gonna mention in this part are, I think they look good, but I didn't, like, the love I have for them didn't follow me through the years as powerfully as the love I've had for the man before in this video. So just to name a few, I will name Keith Richards. I had a big crush on Vince Neil for a little while, Tommy Lee, Nikki Sixx. Big honorable mention to Nikki Sixx because also I want to talk about his community on Tumblr. His fans are something as well. So for sure, I also would have to add Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. I mean, you cannot talk about rock and roll without these two men, and they were really hot. They just didn't mark me the same way as the others did, okay? Who else? Roger Waters, also a bit of a controversial figure, but when I was 14, I had a big crush on Roger Waters. Roger Waters, that's a circa early 70s, I guess, when he's known. Brown hair, black outfit. That was my favorite Roger Waters era. And also, I'm going Brian May. I still think Brian May is hot, but yeah, my love for him is not as strong as Brian May was pretty good looking too. Roger Taylor, I was forgetting about him. Also had a crush on Roger Taylor. Also beautiful, sexy man, especially in the 70s era. Still look good in the 80s, but my favorite Roger Taylor is 70s Roger Taylor. And I guess we could say I did have a mini crush on Mike Nesmith of the Monkees in the past year, because I've gotten back into watching Monkees episodes, and now that I'm older, I think Mike Nesmith is my favorite member of the Monkees. When I was younger, it was Davy Jones, but now that I'm an adult, it's actually Mike. So really interesting how the evolution went. There's so many more rock stars I could name, but it would take so long. But I'm going to conclude by adding Tom Petty, Daniel Johns of Silverchair, Lane Staley. I did have a Lane Staley phase, and Ron Wood. So that's gonna be my conclusion. That is definitely more. There's so many of them. Can we really choose? I don't know. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you want to leave a comment down below and talk about your favorite rock star, your celebrity, crushes and tell us why and who were they, please tell me. I would very much love to read your thoughts on the subject, what you thought of mine, things like that. If you want, give a like, subscribe to my brand new content. Hopefully you'll get better and better with time, but this is just the start of my BB's Bell channel. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you had fun, and can't wait for more. Bye.